Welcome to today's transformation dive here at Earn Flow Zone, where we peel back the layers on what really drives financial success. Let's be honest, we've all been there. You're scrolling through social media, seeing curated highlight reels of financial freedom. Someone buying a boat, someone sipping cocktails on a beach with a laptop strategically placed nearby. Meanwhile, you're staring at your own bank app icon, and instead of inspiration, you feel dread. Or maybe it's the mail stack that keeps growing, strategically placed where you won't see the transparent window showing a bill, because if you don't see it, it doesn't exist, right? Spoiler, it still exists. Like money is this mysterious force outside of you, sometimes blessing you, sometimes actively working against you. You chase the latest budget app, the hot stock tip, the side hustle guru, believing the one missing piece is out there, external to you. If only you knew the right hack. It's like trying to get fit by just buying new running shoes. The gear is nice, but it doesn't fix the reluctance to actually run. That feeling, that flinch, isn't a math problem. It's a mindset problem. It's a sign that your relationship with money, the unspoken story you tell yourself about it, is dictating your actions, often in ways you don't even realize. We're not just talking numbers today. We're talking about digging deeper. If you're into real actionable money and mindset content that goes beyond the surface, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think in bringing this crucial message to others. And hey, drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win. Let's build this community. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. You flinch at the bank app. It's a visceral reaction, isn't it? Not because you're a terrible person or financially illiterate. Far from it. It's that knot in your stomach when your finger hovers over the icon. The quick urge to shove that suspicious envelope back into the drawer. That feeling, it's your nervous system's reaction to your deeply ingrained money story. Most people genuinely believe their financial woes are purely mathematical. If they just earned more, if they could just stick to a budget, if only they understood compounding interest, then everything would magically fall into place. They see money as an external game, something that happens to them. Good fortune, bad luck, a rough economy, the way things are. They tirelessly seek external solutions, the perfect spreadsheet, the guaranteed investment strategy, the ultimate spending tracker app. It's like believing you can ace a cooking competition just by owning the fanciest pots and pans, completely ignoring your actual skills, or, more importantly, your fear of burning everything. You can gather all the best recipes and tools in the world, but if you're terrified of the heat or convinced you're a terrible cook, you're probably just going to order takeout. This reliance on external fixes is perhaps the biggest money myth perpetuated today. You could have the highest income, the most meticulous budget, the most sophisticated investment portfolio. But if your internal relationship with money, your core beliefs, feelings, and fears about it is dysfunctional, you will inevitably sabotage your progress. You might hustle and earn a lot, only to find creative ways to spend it all. You might manage to save diligently for months, then suddenly face an irresistible urge to blow it all on something impulsive because, deep down, you don't feel worthy of having it or fear losing it anyway. Or perhaps you avoid looking at your finances altogether, keeping yourself in the dark because the anticipation of bad news feels worse than the news itself. The numbers you see or avoid seeing are simply symptoms. The root cause is much deeper. It's wired into how you unconsciously perceive value, security, self-worth, and control through the lens of money. Your money story, the narrative you've built over your lifetime from experiences and societal messages, is the hidden operating system running the show. It's why you flinch. It's why strategies fail when the mindset isn't aligned. Until you confront this internal story, until you understand why you feel that knot, the numbers will always be an uphill battle, a constant source of anxiety and conflict. Try this for a week. Every time you interact with money, paying for coffee, checking a balance, even thinking about a bill, pause and notice the feeling. Don't judge it, just observe it. What emotions come up? That's the first step in uncovering your story. So you've taken a moment, maybe flinched at the app and felt something. Dread, anxiety, perhaps a wave of, ugh. You've started noticing the feeling behind the numbers. That's the crucial pivot. We're trained to think about money as a purely logical equation. Income minus expenses equals savings, investment. But human beings are emotional creatures. We overlay meaning onto everything, especially something as fundamental to survival and well-being as money. The surprising truth is that our financial behaviors are driven far more by these underlying emotions and beliefs than by spreadsheets or financial education alone. Think of it like trying to lose weight purely through calorie counting while ignoring your emotional eating habits or your belief that exercise isn't for you. You can count calories perfectly, but the internal roadblocks will eventually derail you. This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about understanding the mechanics of your own system. Your money story isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a collection of learned responses. Maybe you grew up hearing, money is the root of all evil, or saw your parents constantly stressed about bills, or felt deprived compared to others. These experiences wire beliefs into your subconscious that money is dangerous, scarce, or only brings problems. Consequently, your brain, trying to protect you, creates behaviors like avoiding your bank balance that keep you safe, but simultaneously keep you stuck. The decision you need to make isn't about finding a better budget app. It's the decision to become curious about why you react the way you do. It's deciding to confront the story, not just the symptoms. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from looking at your money today? What's the worst-case scenario your mind is painting? This one shift from focusing solely on the external numbers to exploring your internal landscape changed everything for me. It's like finally checking under the hood of your car instead of just washing the exterior. You might find the real issue isn't the paint job, but something deeper that needs fixing. In the end, the journey to financial well-being isn't just about the numbers you accumulate. It's about the person you become in the process. It's about understanding that your relationship with money is a mirror reflecting your deepest beliefs about security, value, and possibility. We started by talking about that flinch, that instinctual reaction to your bank account. That feeling isn't a judgment on your capability. It's a signal that there's a deeper conversation waiting to happen within you. A money story that needs to be acknowledged and perhaps rewritten. The one big takeaway from understanding this is that sustainable financial growth isn't about external hacks or luck. It's an inside job. When you heal your relationship with money, when you align your beliefs with your goals, the practical steps, budgeting, saving, investing, become not battles, but natural extensions of your empowered mindset. The potential long-term benefit of doing this inner work is profound. It's not just a healthier bank balance, but a quieter mind, a greater sense of control, and the freedom to make financial decisions from a place of clarity and confidence, rather than fear or scarcity. It's the difference between constantly fighting against yourself and finally working with yourself towards your goals. This deeper insight about money, discipline, and growth is that true wealth begins not in your wallet, but in your head and your heart. The numbers are important, of course, but they are the effect, not the cause, of your financial state. Cultivate the inner landscape, and the outer world will follow. Remember, progress, not perfection, is the goal. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep exploring that inner world, and keep taking small, intentional steps forward. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. Welcome to today's Transformation Dive with Earn Flow Zone. Let's be brutally honest for a second. Are you really in control of your money? Or are you just living paycheck to paycheck, hoping things magically improve? It feels like everyone else has it figured out, right? They're investing, saving, building wealth, while you're stuck playing financial whack-a-mole. The truth is, for most people, money isn't about bad luck or lack of income. It's about what's going on inside. It's about the invisible barriers, the unconscious habits, the things you think you know about money that are actually holding you back. We're not talking about complicated spreadsheets or stock market secrets. Not yet, anyway. We're talking about the foundational shifts that make all the difference. This is where the real work begins, peeling back the layers to understand why you do what you do with money and how you can fundamentally change your relationship with it for the better. If you're tired of the financial struggle, if you're ready to stop just earning and start flowing, you're in the right place. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. It tells us you're serious about taking control. And while you're there, drop a comment with where you're watching from, or your biggest money habit win. Let's build this community. This isn't just about building a bigger bank account. It's about building a better, more empowered you. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Okay, let's talk about something deeply personal. Something that's been shaping your financial life since you were tiny, even if you don't realize it. It's your unwritten money story. Think back, way back. What were the very first things you learned about money just by being a kid in your home? Was it something scarce, always running out? Was it a constant source of tension, the reason for hushed or not so hushed arguments behind closed doors? Or maybe it felt like something powerful, exciting, even slightly mysterious. Perhaps it felt dirty, stressful, something grown-ups worried about endlessly. Your earliest childhood observations, the way your parents handled finances or didn't, the casual comments overheard, even cultural messages filtering through, they weren't just passive experiences. They were the pen writing the very first draft of your personal money story. Maybe you heard classic lines like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," as if anyone actually thought it did, Mom, or the dreaded, "We can't afford that," which often felt less like a statement of fact and more like a judgment. Perhaps you witnessed a significant financial loss or struggle, or maybe you saw seemingly effortless wealth around you. These aren't just memories. They are programming instructions. They built unconscious rules deep within you about who gets money, what it's really for, and crucially, what kind of person you are in relation to it. This foundational story dictates your default behavior. You might genuinely believe you're making conscious, rational choices about spending or saving, but often you're simply following a script written decades ago, running on autopilot. It's like trying to run a marathon on a treadmill programmed for a casual stroll. Your effort is high, but you're not getting anywhere fast. If your internal script says money is hard to get, requires immense sacrifice, and is easy to lose, guess what tends to manifest in your life? It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If your story includes a belief that people with money are inherently greedy or selfish, you might subconsciously push opportunities for wealth away because you don't want to become that person. Here's the surprising insight, the one that flips things on their head. Your current financial reality, the numbers in your bank account, the amount of debt you carry, the level of stress you feel about finances, it is far less about your income level right now and far more about the story you've internalized. This is why you can see two people with the exact same salary, perhaps even the same job title, living vastly different financial lives with completely different bank balances and stress levels. One has a story of scarcity, fear, and limitations. The other operates from a story of competence, possibility, and growth. Their income is identical, but their internal narrative creates two separate financial universes. Take a moment right now, pause if you need to, and really think. What was the dominant feeling or core message about money in your household growing up? Write down one phrase, just a few words, that captures it. This one simple action can start to reveal the invisible forces at play. Your money story isn't just a collection of feelings or vague anxieties. It's a set of invisible rules you live by, often without even realizing it. Think of it like the operating system running quietly in the background of your mind, dictating how you interact with every dollar that comes your way. These rules might sound familiar. Never talk about money. Always save for a rainy day, even if it's sunny and the forecast is clear. Money is power. Hoard it at all costs. Money is evil. You should give it all away. Rich people are fundamentally miserable, or perhaps you have to struggle and suffer to earn respect or deserve success. These aren't universal laws etched in stone. They're lines from your personal script, inherited or written early on. You probably see these hidden directives playing out in your daily financial decisions. Maybe you earn some extra income, but feel a pang of guilt spending any of it, adhering rigidly to an always sacrifice rule. Or perhaps you receive a bonus, and before you can even process it, the money is gone, immediately blown on something frivolous, following a "money burns a hole in my pocket" rule. It's like you're playing a game with yourself, but someone changed the rules without telling you. Maybe you consistently avoid negotiating your salary or raising your prices because your internal script says asking for more is greedy, or you should just be grateful for what you have. These aren't logical choices driven by current circumstances. They are automatic reactions triggered by these deep-seated, invisible rules. A powerful, often overlooked myth here is that these rules are just common sense, the way things are, or simply how I am. They absolutely are not. They are learned behaviors, defense mechanisms put in place long ago to protect an older story, a narrative about scarcity, worthiness, or safety. They kept you safe within the boundaries of what was familiar, predictable, and perhaps, back then, necessary. But these same boundaries now keep you contained, even if familiar means chronic financial stress or struggling to reach your potential. It's like still wearing training wheels on a bike you're perfectly capable of riding on the open road. These rules are powerful because they feel innate, like gravity, but they are as malleable as soft clay once you shine a light on them. They dictate whether you lean into opportunity or shrink away, whether you feel empowered or anxious around your finances. The key to unlocking your financial flow isn't just about budgets and investments. It's about rewriting the script, running the show. Here's the action. Simple but profound. Identify one invisible money rule you suspect you follow regularly. Be brutally honest, like checking your screen time report at the end of the week. Sometimes the data is surprising. Does this rule genuinely serve you in building the life and financial future you desire? If not, if it holds you back or causes unnecessary friction, write down the opposite rule you would prefer to live by. This one habit of conscious rule-making can start to dismantle years of autopilot living. Try this for a week. Actively observe when this old rule kicks in, and remind yourself of the new one you're choosing. Let's be honest. How often do you genuinely, calmly look at your bank accounts, credit card statements, and bills? For many, it's a reactive task. You only look when absolutely necessary, like scrambling to pay a bill at the very last minute, or maybe when you're feeling particularly brave, or perhaps desperate. There's a real resistance there, isn't there? A subtle, or sometimes not so subtle urge to just not open that app, not rip open that envelope, not log into that portal. Why the avoidance? It's not just about the numbers themselves. It runs deeper than that. The truth is, seeing those numbers often confirms the story you already believe about yourself and your money. If your deeply held story, perhaps whispered to you since childhood or reinforced by past experiences, is "I'm bad with money," then seeing a low bank balance or a high debt total isn't just information. It's painful confirmation of that negative self-view. It's like stepping on the scale after weeks of unhealthy eating. You know what it's going to say, and the anticipation of that confirmation is what you dread. Or, if your story is "there's never enough," looking at bills, expenses, and account balances feels like looking at irrefutable proof of that perpetual lack. Your brain isn't just seeing figures. It's activating a whole network of negative emotions and limiting beliefs tied to those figures. This avoidance isn't simply laziness or a lack of discipline, though it can certainly look and feel that way from the outside, or even to yourself. People often underestimate the powerful psychological forces at play. Your brain is actually trying to protect you. It's a defense mechanism designed to shield you from the discomfort, shame, fear, or anxiety that comes from confronting a reality that aligns perfectly with your negative self-view around money. It's exactly like avoiding the doctor because you're afraid of bad news, hoping that maybe, just maybe, if you don't get the official diagnosis, it somehow isn't real. Spoiler alert, the health issue doesn't disappear just because you avoid the checkup. And neither do your financial realities. Here's the surprising insight, the real kicker that challenges common thinking. This act of avoiding your numbers, which feels like self-preservation in the moment, actually guarantees that you stay stuck in the old story. It's the ultimate self-sabotage loop. You cannot, I repeat, cannot change what you refuse to see. Avoiding the scoreboard doesn't change the score. It just means you have no idea how to strategize for the next play. Your financial life is exactly the same. Until you face the current state, you have no basis for planning, no data to learn from, and no power to shift direction. Facing the numbers is the absolute first step to writing a new, empowering money story. So here is your crucial action step today. This one habit, this tiny decision, can begin to change everything for you. Open one financial app or statement that you've been avoiding. Just one. And just look. Breathe. For 60 seconds, simply observe the numbers. Don't judge them. Don't attach the old story to them. Just see the figures on the screen or paper. This single act of non-judgmental observation is your first step in reclaiming control and proving to yourself that you are capable of facing your financial reality head-on. Okay, let's expand Section 5 according to the protocol. Section 5, Scarcity versus Possibility Mindset. Now that we've touched on briefly reference previous sections' theme, e.g., building habits or setting goals, it's absolutely essential to talk about the inner game, the silent director of your financial life, your mindset. Specifically, we're talking about the profound difference between operating from a scarcity mindset versus a possibility mindset. This distinction isn't just academic. It's the fork in the road where one path leads to limitations and the other to potential growth. Your personal money story, the collection of beliefs and experiences you've gathered about money since childhood, acts like a filter, heavily influencing which mindset dominates. Think of it like wearing glasses. One pair makes everything look bleak and difficult. The other highlights opportunities you didn't see before. A scarcity story is that pair of glasses that sees lack everywhere. Its internal dialogue is a constant loop of "I can't afford that." Someone else will get the good opportunities. Or, if I spend this small amount, I won't have enough for that future need. It focuses relentlessly on limitations, competition, and what's missing. You see a friend effortlessly post a picture with a new car, and immediately your brain triggers envy and despair, whispering, "Must be nice. I'll never have that." It's like getting a small raise at work, a moment that should feel like progress, but before the excitement can even register, the scarcity mindset kicks in, making you immediately worry about taxes taking it all, or anticipating unexpected expenses that will wipe it out, completely canceling any feeling of moving forward. The energy here is restrictive, fearful, and often leads to inaction or decisions driven by panic. On the flip side, a possibility story wears glasses that highlight solutions, growth, and even collaboration. Its questions aren't about if something is possible, but how. The internal dialogue shifts to, "How can I afford that?" Or, "There are plenty of opportunities out there. Let me find one." Or, "Spending this wisely on something valuable can actually create more later." This mindset sees potential and abundance even in challenging situations. When you see that same friend with a new car, the possibility story inspires curiosity. "Wow, that's great for them. How did they do that? Maybe I can learn from them or find a similar path." It's about seeing another person's win not as your loss, but as proof that success is attainable and maybe even a blueprint for your own journey. The energy here is expansive, hopeful, and encourages proactive steps. Here's the surprising fact, the big myth bust many people cling to, the idea that scarcity is the objective reality and possibility is just naive, wishful thinking. That's perhaps the most limiting belief of all. The truth is, reality is profoundly shaped by your perspective and the actions that perspective drives. If you truly believe there isn't enough to go around, not enough money, not enough opportunities, not enough success for everyone, you will unconsciously act in ways that reinforce that belief. You'll hesitate, you'll compete destructively, you'll miss opportunities because you weren't looking for them. This ensures you get less. Conversely, if you believe there's possibility and potential, you look for solutions, you collaborate, you take calculated risks, and you find pathways to success that were invisible to the scarcity thinker. Your actions, stemming from your mindset, create your reality. This brings us to a crucial action step, a simple but powerful habit that changed everything for me. Once I started paying attention. Notice your thoughts today, specifically. Pay attention when you see someone else experience financial success or receive an opportunity you desire. What are your immediate thoughts? Are they scarcity-driven, envy, comparison, that sigh followed by "must be nice"? Or are they possibility-driven, inspiration, genuine curiosity? How can I learn from this? What steps did they take? Don't try to change them yet. Just notice. Become the observer of your own financial narrative. This single act of awareness is the first step in rewriting your money story and shifting from a world of limits to a world of potential. Section 6. Busting the not enough myth. All right, let's tackle a silent killer of financial potential. Maybe the biggest one hiding in plain sight. It's the feeling of not enough. You know the one. It whispers, "I am not enough." Or maybe it's, "I don't have enough." This isn't just about the zeros in your bank account. It runs way deeper. It's this pervasive sense of fundamental inadequacy that can totally sideline your financial aspirations before you even start. People often feel they don't deserve wealth, or perhaps they believe they're not smart enough to manage it, not disciplined enough to save consistently, or just somehow fundamentally flawed when it comes to money. This feeling doesn't usually appear out of nowhere. It often brews from a lack of external validation during crucial moments, or from years of internalizing harsh, critical self-talk. Think about this common scenario. You work hard, you land that amazing client, you secure a fantastic project that pays significantly better than average. Instead of feeling accomplished, excited, and validated, a knot forms in your stomach. You immediately start worrying. Can I actually pull this off? Is this just a fluke? What if I mess it up and everyone finds out I'm not as capable as they think? That, my friends, is the not enough myth rearing its ugly head. It's like getting a promotion at the gym, to lifting heavier weights, and instead of feeling strong, you instantly worry about dropping the bar and looking silly. It's a mindset trap. Here's the surprising truth, the absolute myth bust we need to plant firmly in our minds. Your net worth has absolutely nothing to do with your human worth. Zero correlation. Seriously, none. Your value as a person isn't determined by your bank balance, your investment portfolio size, or even the mountain of debt you might be facing right now. You are inherently valuable just by being you, regardless of any financial metric. Believing I am not enough when it comes to money isn't a fact. It's a story. It's a judgment you or someone else made that you decided to carry. And honestly, it's a story that will keep you stuck in a financial rut faster than anything else. Why bother trying to learn, save, invest, or grow if at a fundamental level you believe you're inadequate for the task anyway? That belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. This core concept, separating your financial situation from your personal value, is absolutely crucial for financial growth. It's the decision to stop equating dollars with dignity. Here's the action prompt for this section, a practical step to start rewriting that story. Try this for a week. Stand in front of a mirror, maybe first thing in the morning or right before bed. Look yourself directly in the eye. Take a deep breath and say, out loud if you can, or internally if you must, "My financial situation right now does not define my worth as a person." Say it again and again. Repeat it until it starts to feel less like a lie and more like a truth you are willing to accept. This isn't instant magic, but it's a powerful habit that starts chipping away at that deeply ingrained, unhelpful story. This one habit, consciously affirming your inherent worth, separate from your finances, can change everything about how you approach money, discipline, and growth. It shifts your foundation from fear of inadequacy to a place where growth feels possible because you believe you are capable of achieving it, regardless of past setbacks or current numbers. Financial inertia. It's another heavy blanket that a stuck money story loves to pull over you. You know the feeling, right? That persistent inability to actually take consistent, positive action with your money. It's like you've got a perfect roadmap, maybe even a shiny new vehicle, but you just never leave the driveway. People find themselves stuck in this loop. I know I should be budgeting. I really need to start saving for that thing. Investing is important. I'll look into it. Eventually. But eventually never arrives. You tell yourself, I'll start next month, when things calm down. Or once I get that raise, then I'll get serious. Maybe it's when the kids are older, or when things are less stressful. It's the classic starting tomorrow club. And guess what? Membership is free, but the cost of staying a member is absolutely staggering over time. You postpone it, push it off, promising your future self that they'll handle the boring money stuff. Spoiler alert, future self is just as busy and probably feels the same way. Here's a crucial point, and this is where the old story really sneaks in. This procrastination isn't pure laziness. Often, it's your old money story whispering insidious things in your ear. It's the voice that says, "Why bother? It probably won't work out anyway." Or maybe, "You tried before and messed it up. Remember? You'll just mess this up too." For many, it's the overwhelming feeling, "It's too complicated. I wouldn't even know where to start." Your brain, in its infinite wisdom and desire to protect you from perceived pain, calculates that the discomfort and potential pain of confronting this old story, facing potential failure, or simply feeling overwhelmed is greater than the pain of staying exactly where you are. It chooses the known discomfort over the unknown difficulty. Think about it. How many times have you downloaded a budgeting app with the best intentions, only to have it sit there like a digital paperweight? Or maybe you opened it once, saw all the categories and inputs, felt a wave of nope, and quickly deleted it or just abandoned ship? That's financial inertia in action, powered by an old, limiting story. Here's a powerful myth bust for you. The common belief is that you need massive motivation, iron discipline, or a perfectly detailed, foolproof plan to finally get started with your money. You don't. That's the myth the inertia wants you to believe. What you actually need is to challenge the inertia itself, and, by extension, the old story driving it. Inertia is the default state. It requires no energy to stay put, but staying put costs you dearly over time. It costs you potential savings, potential investment gains, and it costs you your peace of mind as stress continues to build. So, here's your action, and this is where you truly begin to shift. Your challenge is ridiculously simple, but profoundly powerful because it directly confronts that inertia. Pick one tiny action to improve your life, almost laughable action related to money that you can do today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. We're talking microscopic steps. It could be find that unopened bill sitting on your counter or in your email. Just find it. Or maybe download one specific budgeting app you've heard of. Don't even need to open it yet, just download it. Or it could be opening your online banking and just looking at your checking account balance for 30 seconds. That's it. Just look. Don't judge, don't analyze, just observe for 30 seconds. Ask yourself, what's truly stopping you from taking that specific, tiny step right now? This one habit, the habit of taking just one tiny step, regardless of how you feel or how imperfect it is what changes everything. It breaks the pattern of procrastination. It sends a signal to your brain and your old story that you are capable of action, no matter how small. That tiny movement creates a ripple, and ripples, over time, become waves of change. Section 8. Consciously rewriting your story. Okay, so we've peeled back the layers. You're starting to see the patterns, the inherited scripts running in the background of your financial life. The big question now is, how in the world do you change a story that feels like it's been running on repeat for decades, maybe even your entire life? It's like trying to change the main character's lines mid-movie. Feels impossible, right? But it's not. It absolutely starts with awareness. You have to become a detective in your own mind, specifically around your money thoughts. Think of it like catching a rogue app running in the background on your phone, secretly draining your battery. You have to identify it first. So you start noticing. You catch the old script running. What thoughts pop up automatically when you think about money? When a bill arrives? When you see someone else's success or new car? When you consider saving or investing? Pay attention to these knee-jerk reactions. Are they generally positive, hopeful, and empowering? Or are they negative, fearful, and limiting? Phrases like "I can't afford that," "money is hard to come by," "I'm just not good with numbers," or "rich people are greedy." These aren't just random thoughts. They're lines from that old script. Now here's a crucial distinction. Are these thoughts based on current facts and data? Or are they old, inherited beliefs that you adopted years ago and haven't questioned since? Often, they're the latter, echoes of past experiences, or things you absorbed from family, friends, or society. Once you notice the old line playing, and trust me, you will start hearing it everywhere now. The next step is surprisingly simple, though not always easy. You consciously choose a new one. This isn't about pretending everything is instantly perfect with forced, positive affirmations that feel like outright lies. Saying, "I am a millionaire," when you're staring down significant debt probably won't resonate and might even feel worse. That's like trying to convince yourself you're an Olympic athlete just by saying the words while sitting on the couch. The new script needs to be believable, slightly ahead of your current reality, but feel true and empowering to you. Let's put this into practice. Instead of the deeply ingrained, "I'm terrible with money," which many people carry like a heavy backpack, you consciously choose a different line. "I am learning to manage my money skillfully." See how that feels? It acknowledges where you are, but opens the door to progress and capability. Instead of the scarcity-driven, "there's never enough," which limits your perspective, try "I am finding ways to create financial security," or opportunities for abundance are all around me. These feel less like fantasy and more like achievable paths. They shift your focus from lack to potential. Here's the genuinely surprising and powerful insight that underpins all of this. Your brain is remarkably, incredibly malleable. It's not a fixed, rigid structure. This is thanks to something called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout life. Every time you catch that old, limiting thought and consciously choose to replace it with the new, empowering one, you are literally performing mental reps. You are strengthening a new neural pathway in your brain and weakening the old one. It's like exercising a muscle you didn't know you had, the muscle of intentional thought. The more you choose the new story, the stronger it becomes, and the weaker the old one gets, until eventually, the new thought becomes your default setting. So here is your concrete action step, your challenge starting right now. For the rest of today, and I highly recommend continuing it for at least a week, every single time you notice a negative or limiting thought about money, wealth, or your financial situation pop into your head, pause. Don't judge yourself for having the thought. Acknowledge it without criticism. Like saying, okay, there's that old money is hard thought again. Then, immediately and consciously replace it with one of your chosen empowering thoughts. It could be one we just discussed, or one you craft yourself. At first, you might even need to write your new lines on a card or your phone background and read it aloud to yourself. That's perfectly okay. The goal is to break the automatic chain reaction and deliberately build a new one. This one habit changed everything for me because it shifted the battleground from external circumstances to my internal landscape, where I actually have control. Okay, you've done the crucial work of uncovering your old money story and starting to craft a new one. Now, here's where the rubber truly meets the road, or as I like to say, where the pixels on your screen turn into pavement beneath your feet. This is Section 9. Action follows your new story. Changing your money story isn't just about fluffy positive thinking, journaling, or wishing upon a financial star. While those internal shifts are absolutely foundational. Like calibrating your compass, the real power is in enabling different actions. Think about it. Your old story wasn't just a collection of thoughts. It was the invisible hand guiding your financial behaviors, often into ditches you didn't even realize were there. When your internal narrative shifts from something like, "I'm inherently bad with money, so why even bother tracking where it goes? It's just too complicated anyway," to a new, empowering belief like, "I am capable of learning and managing my money. I can figure this out one step at a time." Suddenly, the idea of tracking expenses doesn't feel like a tedious punishment or confirmation of your inadequacy. It starts to feel like building competence, gaining control, even like playing a strategy game where you're finally learning the rules. The action of opening a budgeting app or spreadsheet becomes less a chore and more an act of self-efficacy. Or consider this common one. The old story might be, "Money is scarce, a limited pie, and I must hoard every single penny I get, depriving myself of everything fun just in case of a rainy day that feels like it's perpetually coming." Someone with the old story, "Investing is only for rich, super smart finance people, and I just lose everything because I don't understand it," naturally avoids the market like a plague. They stay out, missing out on potential long-term growth and the magic of compounding, which, by the way, is basically your money making little baby monies while you sleep. Okay, maybe not that simple, but you get the idea. But someone who courageously rewrites their story to, I am capable of learning about investing. I can start small, understand the basics, and grow my knowledge over time, takes dramatically different actions. They might start by reading a beginner-friendly book, listen to a reputable podcast, then open a low-cost index fund account with just a small amount, and crucially, start automating those contributions. They are taking tangible, wealth-building steps because their belief enabled the action. Here's the myth we are busting right here, right now, that motivation or sheer willpower is the primary key to consistent financial action. People often blame themselves. I just don't have enough discipline, or I need more motivation. But trying to force yourself to do something that fundamentally conflicts with your deep-seated beliefs, your old story, is like trying to swim against a raging current while wearing a lead vest. It's exhausting, often unsuccessful, and makes you feel like a failure. It's not a willpower problem. It's a belief problem. The underlying story drives the behavior. Change the belief, and the action becomes not just easier, but often feels natural, aligned, and even energizing. So, your action step right now is a powerful one. Think about one specific financial action you know you should take, but you consistently avoid. Maybe it's setting a budget, tracking spending, finally looking at your debt, or starting to save for retirement. Now, connect that avoided action directly to the old story that's been holding you back. What belief makes that action feel difficult, scary, or pointless? Be honest. Then, connect the act of taking that single step, just that one action, to your new, desired story and the person you are becoming. How does taking that step, however small, align with the capabilities, competence, or future you are building? See that connection? It's not about being motivated to do the thing. It's about acting from the place of your new identity. Think about compound interest for a moment. It's not just the initial principal earning interest. It's the interest earning interest on itself, accelerating growth over time. Your financial story, the narrative you tell yourself about money, has its own powerful compound effect, and it's just as crucial for long-term growth as any investment strategy. Just like that tiny bit of interest starts small but becomes massive over decades. Consistently choosing and acting from your new money story builds financial competence and confidence in a way that compounds over time. This isn't about one massive overnight personality transplant where you suddenly become a budgeting ninja or a stock market guru. People often underestimate the power of incremental change. They look at someone successful financially and think, wow, they must have always been like that, or they just got lucky. But the surprising truth, that transformation is almost always the result of hundreds, if not thousands, of tiny, consistent steps fueled by a changing internal narrative. It's the compound effect of story change in action. Here's how it works. A small shift in belief, a tiny crack in the old story, leads to one small shift in action. Maybe your new story is simply, I am capable of understanding where my money goes, instead of, I'm terrible with money. This slight shift might motivate you to track your spending for just one day. That action yields a small result. Maybe you find a subscription you didn't even remember having after reviewing your bank statement. Or you simply see the total of your coffee spending for the week and think, huh, even this tiny, positive result reinforces the new story. You think, see, I can do this. I found $15 a month just by looking. That little win makes the next action easier. If tracking one day was okay, maybe you can track 3 or even a whole week. This leads to a slightly bigger result. Perhaps you save $100 more this month than last by cutting back on impulse buys discovered through tracking. This bigger positive result further reinforces the new story. Not only can I track, I can actually save. Which makes the next action feel not just possible, but perhaps even exciting, leading to an even bigger result, and so on. It's a virtuous cycle, slowly but surely replacing the vicious cycle of the old story, where negative beliefs led to avoidance, leading to poor results, reinforcing the negative beliefs. Remember the example we touched on. You commit to tracking spending for a week. Action driven by new story. I can understand my money. You realize you spend $50 a week on impulse buys you don't even value. Insight, small result. You decide to redirect that $50 to a savings goal. New action, easier because of the insight. You hit your first small savings goal, positive result, which makes you feel capable and in control. Reinforces new story, motivating you to save even more next month. Compounding action. The beauty here is the lack of perfection required. You don't need to go from zero to financial superhero overnight. You just need to commit to one small, repeatable, positive money action fueled by that new story fragment this week. Try this for a week. Commit to doing one specific small money action every single day. Maybe it's tracking just one category of spending, transferring a tiny $10 to savings, reading one page of a personal finance book, or even just saying a positive affirmation about your financial future. Do it every day this week. Don't aim for perfection, just aim for consistency. This one habit, done daily, will plant the seed for the compound effect of your changing story. Ask yourself, what one tiny money action, driven by your desired financial story, can you commit to doing every single day this week? Do it. Watch that tiny seed start to grow. In continuing from the previous section, now let's shift gears and talk about something deeply personal, something that shapes every financial decision you make, often without you even realizing it. It's your money story. Think of it like the operating system running in the background of your financial life. It's a narrative, a collection of beliefs, experiences, and emotions about money that you've absorbed over your lifetime, from your family, your friends, your culture. Even those random comments you overheard as a kid. Maybe your story is, money is scarce, or you have to work yourself to the bone, or rich people are greedy, or even, I'm just bad with numbers. Whatever it is, it's been running on repeat. When you're unconscious of this narrative, it holds immense power over you. It's like being a character in a play whose script you didn't read, but you're forced to act out your lines anyway. This leads to that feeling of being stuck, that financial anxiety. That frustrating cycle where you keep making the same mistakes even though you know better. You react to money situations from a place of old fears and limiting beliefs embedded in that story. Your reactions aren't based on the current reality of your situation, but on the echoes of past experiences and outdated programming. You see opportunities through a lens clouded by scarcity or fear, and you retreat instead of stepping forward. It feels like the world is happening to you, financially. But here's where the power shift happens. When you become conscious of your money story, you take the director's chair. You pull back the curtain and see the script for what it is. You can identify the outdated programming, those lines you've been reciting automatically, and deliberately choose different thoughts, different feelings, and most importantly, different actions. This doesn't magically make challenges disappear. A job loss is still a job loss. An unexpected bill is still an unexpected bill. But you face them from a place of agency and capability, not victimhood. You're no longer blindly following the script. You're rewriting it in real time. Consider the example from the description, a job loss. If your unconscious money story is "I'm helpless and the world is against me," your reaction will likely be panic, paralysis, hiding from the problem. You might sit around feeling sorry for yourself, overwhelmed by the sheer mountain of finding a new job. Now, if your conscious money story is "I am resourceful and adaptable," your reaction is fundamentally different. The event, job loss, is the same, but your internal response triggers a different set of actions. You immediately start updating your resume, reaching out to your network, actively exploring new possibilities. You see a setback, not as a dead end, but as a pivot point. The outcome is likely to be completely different because you approach the situation from a place of power, not powerlessness. It's like upgrading your phone's operating system. Same hardware, totally different functionality and possibilities. And perhaps the most surprising insight: you are not your money story. It is something you have, something you can change, not something you are. This fundamental distinction is the key to unlocking your financial potential. Your money story is a narrative you carry, not your identity. It's a set of beliefs you've adopted, not your inherent worth or capability. Recognizing this gives you permission to challenge it, to edit it, to burn the old script and write a new one that actually serves the financial future you want to build. It's the ultimate act of taking back control. Your action step for this section is simple but profound. Reflect. What is one area of your finances where you feel powerless? Maybe it's debt, saving, investing, or just feeling like you never have enough. Now ask yourself, how is your old money story contributing to that feeling? Just make the connection. Don't judge it, just observe it. This awareness is the first step to rewriting your script. Let's slow things down for a moment. We've covered a lot, haven't we? The flinch when you look at your bank balance, the subtle ways you avoid financial conversations, that persistent feeling of frustration or even shame around money. It's easy to dismiss these as just individual problems, like a leaky faucet or a broken appliance. But what if they're not? What if they're actually symptoms, like a persistent cough or unexplained fatigue? Symptoms of something deeper at play. Think of it like this. You have an invisible operating system running in the background, and it's dictating a lot of your financial behavior. This operating system isn't genetics. It's your unconscious money story, pieced together from childhood lessons, family experiences, societal messages, and personal setbacks. This story creates invisible rules, silent permissions, and unconscious fears that drive financial inertia, keeping you stuck in a loop, often feeling like you're living in scarcity mode, regardless of how much income actually hits your bank account. It's like having a faulty GPS, always rerouting you back to the same frustrating dead end, even if you know the correct destination. Here's the surprising, empowering truth. You are absolutely not your story. That narrative isn't a prison sentence. It's a script you can edit. You possess the power to identify it, to shine a light on those old beliefs, challenge their validity, and consciously, deliberately rewrite the script. This isn't some woo-woo magic trick or positive thinking fairy dust. It's a fundamental, practical shift in perspective that changes the internal landscape, which in turn enables different, more empowered actions in the external world. It's the difference between feeling like a passenger on a runaway train and actually sitting in the driver's seat. Now, let's talk about what happens if you choose not to pay attention to this inner narrative. You'll likely continue to chase external solutions with admirable effort, downloading budgeting apps, trying every money-saving hack, or grinding for a higher-paying job. And while these things have their place, an internal program, your old money story, will keep running in the background, quietly, persistently sabotaging your efforts. You might earn more, only to find lifestyle creep eats it all, still leaving you feeling broke. You might try valiantly to save, but suddenly find irresistible reasons to spend that emergency fund. You'll remain stuck in a cycle of financial stress and anxiety, always feeling like money is something that happens to you, like bad weather, rather than something you actively manage, cultivate, and build. You're working hard, but it feels like you're trying to swim upstream with a parachute open. This brings us to a deeper insight, a powerful truth about wealth that goes beyond just the numbers on a screen. The greatest, most sustainable wealth isn't simply measured in your bank account balance. It resides in your relationship with money itself. When you heal and master that relationship, treating money not as an adversary or a source of fear, but as a tool, a resource, a reflection of value, the numbers transform. They stop being tormentors causing sleepless nights and start becoming instruments you use strategically to build the life you want. So, what's the single most important, most doable step you can take today, right now, to begin this process of rewriting your money story? It's simple, deceptively simple, but then immediately below it, write down one empowering belief you want to cultivate instead. One that feels hopeful, true, or aspirational. Just that act of getting it out of your head and onto paper is the very first conscious act of taking control of your narrative, choosing a different story. Do that one thing, take that tiny, powerful step today. In the end, remember this truth: your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.